The founder and executive director at Through My Eyes organization. So Through My Eyes is a social enterprise and we work with children with disabilities. So we use play and play therapy to build and enhance social and emotional skills. I found myself in a situation that was strange, but at the same time, life-changing. I had to take care of a boy with cerebral palsy at a very young age. I was just 12 years old, and I'd never even met anyone like this before, but this boy just kind of fell in love with me. And I ended up taking care of him for about 2 years, so juggling between school and taking care of him. That meant that I had to be, living with them. It was very weird, it was very uncomfortable, but it was a very, very life-changing situation that I went through. And then after that, a series of events, I also applied for a few summer camps in the United States. And I went there and, I took care of children with disabilities as well. So I wanted to do the same thing that I saw in the US being done here in Kenya, because I believe that all these children need love. Yeah. So play therapy involves a lot of things. So it involves art. So we use a lot of things. We encourage the kids to even become very creative. So we have storytelling sessions, and the storytelling sessions, we make the child the center of the story, and we make them understand that they are practicing a certain social skill at that point in time. So we actually cut out pictures of the kids, put them on a book or on a manila paper, and then we make a story out of it. And every time they can actually go through this story, when they're struggling with patience, when they're struggling with not being calm, when they're struggling with making friends, they can always go about this book and read and see. I actually don't have one book because, we've given most of them. And then we have like things that you can feel and touch. So this is just, we use recyclable material. This is from carton. But I'm sure you're familiar with the game of XOXO, yeah? Or tic-tac-toe for those people who are more advanced. So we made this from cardboard or from carton, and we play this with the kids a lot. So this is usually for the children also who can't see and use feel and touch. So you'll find that some of them who have cerebral palsy, sometimes their eyesight is affected, so they are not able to see you. So they want something that they can feel and touch. So this is something that we usually use, and we use a lot of carton to make some of our material. We use paint because you're able to touch it, you're able to put it on your feet. I mean, you can use everything. You can use anything to paint, and we also use like sponges, like that thing for washing utensils. We use it also in case someone doesn't want to get dirty. I know so many people use brushes, but to get creative, you can use anything and everything. And then we have this, like these noodles. These noodles, most people know them for swimming, but this is to teach teamwork. So one person holds on one side and another person holds on the other side, and then we put a ball in between, and they're supposed to try and get it to enter into their goal. So this is to teach the kids that they have to work together in certain circumstances, and that means even in life they need to be a team. We can't all do everything on our own. So that's another thing. The other thing is, these puppets look so real sometimes I even want to cry. So there's this one. We use this just when we are getting them in our session, just to understand like what emotion they are feeling. So they'll point out the one they want. So this one is like a sad face. So you'll know that you need to engage with this child very differently. We also use it when now we are trying to teach them what sadness is all about and what it means to be sad. So you'll find them also playing with these things sometimes. They'll even show their friends, like one will show their friend this one, and another one will show maybe a happy face, this other one. So they're really good when we teach social and emotional skills, because this one's very, very happy. Yeah, so you'll know at the end of the day what the child is feeling, and you'll know how to engage them, and you can even talk to the parent and be like, today your child was really sad. So basically these are some of the things that we use to teach. Yeah, so some things are bought, other things that we do ourselves, like the storytelling and the cardboard cutting out. Yeah, so we use anything and everything, but we're really trying to go into recycling material. Yes. First of all, we do a needs assessment for the child. So we do a needs assessment not only with the parent but with the child themselves. We have like a whole maybe 1 or 2 hours in a day where we just kind of observe this child to see what their needs are. And then from there, we see the kind of tools that we can use. So what we've seen working is the storytelling, actually, because they feel like they're part of it. They feel like I'm the center of this story, and this story is really talking about me. It's not talking about anybody else. So even when you want to change the story, we just cut out new pictures, and we just try and explain to them how they are different through the story, but using them as the center. And then they exchange the books with another child who is different from them, for them to understand that, okay, Shanice is different from me in this way and this way. So they kind of exchange the books, and they can read the stories of their friends, and that way they get to understand that, oh my God, we're not the same, so the storytelling is what really, really works, because it's a way of communicating, but you're not talking to them. Yeah, and they can use the pictures, and they can see their emotions in those pictures. So if we're not able to get pictures of them in those emotions, or in those situations where we want to get them, we decide to just cut out random pictures of the emotions that we want to bring out properly. Yes. It's important to get this child at their prime, at an environment where they're very comfortable. So we realize that for them to come, sometimes it's even very difficult. Also, the type of children that we deal with, moving from one location to another, it needs everything, all the manpower, everything. So we decided that house calls works best for us. That doesn't mean that we don't want to open a space. That just means that right now we're really, really focusing on the house call, so that we can go wherever you want us to go with you. There's a time during Easter we even went with one boy who was going on vacation, and he can continue with his activities. There's no cutting out anywhere. Also, these children are on a routine base. If you cut off that routine, or if you change something just so abruptly, it becomes so hard. So house calls, they're able to be introduced to being cut off from their routine, but very slowly. They're told that, oh, today someone is going to come and play with you. They're either going to resist or going to accept, but eventually they'll accept because they're still in the environment. But then now when you remove them and take them to a different environment, and then now they have a different routine, everything becomes so jumbled. So house calls, works best for us, but we really are looking forward to having a space. Yes. I believe even us as adults, we like to play. It's just that we have adult fun, or we play differently. But each and every human enjoys playing one way or the other. We actually have one of our clients who's in her 30s. So there's no age that you cannot play, but the prime of play therapy is between the ages of between 2 years and 10 years old, because now when you start getting to the teenage section, you feel like, oh, I'm a big girl, I'm a big boy, I can't play with the small girls. So it becomes very difficult. So I want to say that yes, there is, but again, not really, because everybody likes to have fun one way or the other. So because we are focusing on building their social and emotional skills, that is what we look at. We look at, has this child grown in any way? And also, how have they grown? So for example, one of our clients was working on making friends. So each other day we used to take him outside for an outdoor activity, so that he's forced to actually make a friend. and we would observe to see whether he's able to talk to someone else. Even though he's not able to make the friend on that day, is he able to actually go out there and get the courage to talk to somebody else? So yes, eventually after like 4 weeks, he was able to talk to somebody, make a friend, get the number, and these are the things we look at. So if there's a skill that they're struggling with, then that's our focus at that time. And then when we're able to report back that, okay, I think we've worked on this skill and they're able to do it. If teamwork is one thing that they are struggling with, then we put them in a setup where they always have to work together with somebody else. And then later on, now we evaluate and see. And we also get feedback from the parents to know how they're doing when they're not with us. Are they actually making sure that they are following through with whatever they're supposed to do? Yeah, so it's just a matter of observing and seeing that we've actually achieved what we want to achieve. Together with a counseling psychologist who is able to help us identify the children who actually need the play therapy. We also work with caregivers and parents because they know their child best. They know that their child is struggling in one way or the other and would want to engage in our services. So we work together with the people who are working with this child to know that this person will require play therapy. For the ones who don't really need the therapy, we just have play activities that now lead them to something tangible. But we want to evolve even to like music activities is something that we're not doing right now. But I'm sure that it's a feel-good kind of therapy. So everyone wants to feel good once in a while. But if you're really struggling, then now we really work with you. Yeah. Because we do home visits, it's very easy. From the time we walk in, I mean, this is the first person that we're going to interact with, the person who takes care of this child. We are going to sit with them, make them understand what we are doing, and let them know that, okay, this is what we'll need, this is what we'll need. And even them, when we are struggling, they're the ones who really come through to our rescue, because not every day is a good day. One day you'll go and you'll find the child is really not in the mood, or is not in a very good mood. And she's the one who's going to soothe this child, or he's the one who's going to soothe this child, for you to be able to actually work in a conducive environment. So the caregivers come, they play such a big role. Honestly, I can't even say how much we need them. And they become our friends eventually. Like when we don't show up, maybe 1 week, they're like, oh, where did you go last week? We really missed you. The child was even looking out for you. We couldn't find you. So it's very simple, because we are all working together just to bring value to this child in one way or the other. So we work with them. So for it to be very successful, you can't do play therapy for such a long time. So 1 hour is the maximum that we do. Most of our kids are with us only once a week. But you can do it even twice or thrice a week. But as long as you're not going past either 45 minutes or 1 hour, because mostly attention span even of children is so short, yeah. But when they're having fun, then it tends to lengthen a little bit. But you can't go overboard. If I go past 1, it's like a class. If I do chemistry 2 hours, you remember those chemistry classes? Oh my God, after PE, there's nothing you're going to hear. I mean, it's just those ones of it. I need this teacher to leave. It's the same thing. So people with physical disability, one, they have one sense that is missing. So sometimes they are not able to socialize themselves very well, because, okay, let's say someone who's visually impaired, for example, they're not able to tell or read the room to know what is happening around the room. So we kind of help them to know that, you need to take a break, ask questions if you're actually interacting with someone, because you can go overboard and you can lack a social skill. So it's usually a bit tougher with the ones who are physically challenged or who have physical disabilities, but it's a matter of just identifying the need. For children who are deaf, it's the communication barrier, and because other people are not able to understand their language, they get very angry most of the time. So we help them to calm down, even without speaking to them. We do exercises that are able to just ground them, so that even when they go somewhere and somebody is not able to understand them, they will be able to ground themselves in that moment. Yeah, so physical challenges, it's different, yes, but you can still do it. So through the years, Through My Eyes has evolved majorly. We started during COVID, which was a very tough year for us. I mean, any business that started during COVID, I don't even think we were running a business. It was all about assisting. And then we were based in Kariobangi, where we used to give like care packages just to kind of cushion these parents. And then after that, we started training our staff. So we've had about 25 children on our program, because it's also a very new concept here in Kenya, play therapy. But we have trained also quite a number of people. Through 30, I think about 30 people have been trained by Through My Eyes, and we have trained them in the disability area. So that's also something that's different about us. We don't just, we really sensitize our staff to understand the needs of people with disabilities first, then understand the needs of individuals that we're going to work with. So I could say that we're still a small business, but we're growing, and we hope to grow even more. Well, the future of Through My Eyes is to really have inclusive play areas for people with disabilities. And by that I mean, low bouncing castles that you don't have to climb up, or those trampolines, things that are accessible to people with disabilities. So we want to actually build a play area that people can come and just play with their kids. If you want a swing where you can lie down, I mean, why not? The hammocks are there. So we really have this bold vision to have inclusive play spaces that will have even sign language interpreters so that they can be able to talk to or to communicate to the deaf children. Storytelling sessions is something that we really, really want to do. Puppeteering is also something we're looking into do. So an inclusive area where everybody can feel comfortable, not just the children, but their siblings. You know, they have siblings, most of them, so their siblings want to play with their other siblings, but they're not able to. And that is also something that we are really keen on doing. And also for the parents, just to come and relax and just have a nice day, really, yeah. I think play is important for everybody. It builds on your mental health also. So that is something that we are focusing on. So through my eyes for the future is bright, and we really hope that we can have inclusive play areas for people with disabilities. The advice I would give them is, I mean, this is your child. This person is a rainbow. I like explaining that people with disabilities are like rainbows. Sometimes when you look at a rainbow, you see the beautiful colors, and there are some colors that you can't see, but that doesn't mean that they're not there. And that doesn't mean that they don't make up this beautiful rainbow, yeah? So the fact that you're hiding your child doesn't mean that we can't see that child, one. Doesn't mean that we can't see the strong qualities of this child that you're hiding, and doesn't mean that they can't make this beautiful society that we live in. So I would just like to advise them that embrace this child that you have, love them, and let them come out to the world, because through these children we learn so much every single day. I mean, me myself, even though I'm the one who plays with the children, I learn so much from just working with them. I learn how to ground myself as well. I learn how to be a team player. I learn how to be happy even when things are really not going my way. Some of the kids that I work with, they're constantly just laughing, and I wonder how. But yeah, so just bring these children out in the world, because we need them, and they make up this beautiful society. So Through My Eyes can be found on Instagram and on Facebook. Through My Eyes, or Instagram is through_my_eyes_ke. Or you can also send us an email at info